Jeez Louise, the only thing that can save us right now is by looking at the third Saturday game. It's at Marvel Stadium. And fellas, this is my absolute game of the round. Game of the round.
And don't try and change our mind.
And don't even bother with it. It is the 18th placed North Melbourne Kangaroos versus the 17th placed Collingwood Magpies. Dan, I know you are itching for this one. Now talk to me about it. What are you looking at?
Normally, these kind of games where it's the bottom feeders, you just think, I'd rather do anything else on my Saturday afternoon. There is so much riding on this game.
Narratives upon narratives
narratives. It is just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
If North Melbourne do nothing else this year, they could be the death knell for Nathan Buckley. This could signal the end of his coaching career if they cop a fat loss. It's
beautiful.
In this,
it's not beautiful for Bucks.
To the Roos. No, it's not. And that puts so much pressure on Collingwood to do what should be, fairly routine and get a win against the worst team in the league. But Collingwood suck. They suck. And Jaden Stephenson is going to want blood.
And lots of it.
This is the game. Again, I feel like a lot of the games he sort of is like just loping around, sort of 3/4 pace, like not really ever hitting top speed. His GPS numbers probably not looking crash hot.
Floats in, floats out.
They are going to spike through the fucking roof. And I apologise for the swearing, but this game has got me so excited.
You can't apologise for swearing after that scramble.
We've lost all control of this show, I tell you.
He's going to go bunter. So I'm just going to cut it here. One of my best bets for the week, Jaden Stephenson, at least 2 goals. 2+ goals, paying $1.83. He is going to go wild.
Can you jump on Sportsbet real quick and see if there's any sort of Jaden Stephenson 30+ disposal market?
I'll have a look.
Do you have a look at that?
I have.
And I have.
No, not for 30+, but not only that, Collingwood has apparently given Jordan DeGoey a big fat rocket this week because he's been doing nothing.
He's just been big and fat.
And fair. And not only that, they've had a lot of internal meetings because a lot of the senior players aren't holding up their end of the bargain. This is just wild. What's he paying for 30 touches?
What's Michael Jordan's number?
Oh, I love that. Do it.
$23 for Stevenson to have 30 touches
and
this week.
It's not like he can't do it.
That's not bad.
It's not like he can't do it.
I'm genuinely tempted by that.
What did he have in round 1? 33?
Something like 37.
$650 for 25+. And 20+ is $240.
So, $650 for 25. That's great value.
If I'm going 25, I'm going 30 at 23.
Yeah, but
it's worth it.
This is just a massive game, huge.
For
something that has no outcome on the season whatsoever. This is massive.
This is pure entertainment value. And let's have a look at the North side of things coming in. Now, that was North's best game of the year. Mm-hmm. They got beat by 5 goals in the end, and it wasn't a 5-goal beating that game. No. Unfortunately, North suffered from the trait that a lot of young teams do. Scrap early, go hard, be earnest, hard at the contest, fade out, run out of legs, get tired, get done. And that's exactly what happened when they came up against a team that was a lot fitter and a lot more experienced. Yep. That was North's best game of the year. If they keep that up, they're going to just be consistent, and you will get scalps eventually. And I genuinely think that they're getting a scalp this week. I'm tipping North 1-39. Do you tip North?
I tip North.
Very interesting.
I'm tipping with my heart. I want North to win this game so badly.
I genuinely think they'll do it because they've been building. See, we saw the Crows last year sitting bottom where North are now, and they were just crap. Like they just stayed mired in the mud, and we didn't see any improvement until the end of the year. They just went they just spiked. North have been just slowly. The trajectory's been coming up, and if it keeps going, if their output and effort and consistency keeps going at the same rate that it's going. I feel like this is the week. They just need to stay in because they've not won a last quarter all year. Whereas the Pies, on the other hand, they should have won that game against the Gold Coast. They kicked themselves out of it. And that's really why I just couldn't come at tipping the Suns in that previous game. You can't kick 7-goal 13 and expect to win a game of football. Doesn't matter who you play. Suns, doesn't matter who you play.
We've spoken at length. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah,
I've got the Pies. I'm really sorry, boys. I'd love it to be a consensual consensus, but
can't force these things.
But I'm going to be the sensible one here. And North Melbourne aren't a good side, and Collingwood. The potential for Collingwood is like too much for me. Like the potential, if they play well, the potential is way too much for me to tip against them. I'm going to tip the Pies here. I'd love North Melbourne to get up. I really, really would love North Melbourne to get up. Do you know what? They have just
shown no propensity to play well at all, though. Like they are so bad. They are so bad. You said it. North Melbourne, that fourth quarter, they died in the arse because they're a young team.
Yeah, they just ran out of legs.
The Pies are in the exact same boat. They're just as young and inexperienced, or thereabouts. This is going to be...
To put it into perspective, like for those wrestling fans out there, this is like a WrestleMania match. It's obviously not the main event. It's obviously not the first match. It's sitting at like 5th in the card when you have like... It's not even the toilet break. Like, this is actually an exciting match. Like, the toilet, it's not like in before 2015. It's not the Divas
It's
match.
It's a bad blood feud, mate. There's nothing on the line.
This is very, very big. Yeah. This is very similar to like Seth Rollins and Cesaro. Like, no titles, no build-up at all. The build-up is 2 duds. Bang, let's go. I'm not saying Seth Rollins and Cesaro are duds. They're
I've got
bad example.
There's some interesting storylines for anyone who loves narratives coming into this. Now, here's the most useless stat you're going to hear, not just all day, probably all week, likely all year. Most useless stat. 9 times in AFL VFL history has a father on one team come up against the son who's been playing on another team. 9 times. And 0 out of 9 times have been won by the father's side. All 9 out of 9 have gone to the son's team. The team played in by the son, that is. Now, in this instance, that's Collingwood. John Noble, son of David Noble, who's coach at North Melbourne. So if you are like mentally defective, then you might want to go with that as your impetus for tipping Collingwood.
That's not why.
Maybe. You got the Stephenson thing.
Yep.
That's going to be huge. I genuinely think he has a goal. I genuinely think he could at least 15. He probably would have that to half time. Mm-hmm. Collingwood win nothing by winning this game. They lose everything by losing this game. But equally, all North get by winning is pride. Mm-hmm. And I think they're playing for more than what... When I say they're playing for more than what Collingwood are, the win means more to them.
You make total sense. It makes sense to me. I just think that North Melbourne are...
Dust.
Yeah.
Hall's looking great. Cunnington arrived last week.
There's moments. And
Powell's the rising star.
I mean, I was going to say Tom Power taking that forearm to the head. I thought he was gone. I thought that was it.
No,
then he was back out there. And just starting up. He's a king.
It's like someone pulled a rib out of Cunnington and then moulded it into a little mini Cunnington, because that's how hard Powell is. And same head of hair as well.
Love it. I mean, we've heard a lot of chat about the Pies senior players not being real happy with Bucks and sort of losing the playing group. I don't know that they're going to push hard for a win here, only because it's a regular routine AFL game of football and they want to get a win. But North will want this more, I think.
I genuinely think so.
I hope I'm wrong.
End of the year, I reckon if you're the Pies, you start shopping around DeGoey, Hoskin, Elliott, Thomas, and probably even Darcy Moore. See if you can get yourself back in the draft and reload, because at the minute, their first pick in the draft, mate, is pick 34, somewhere in there.
Going to be rough.
Bad times at Collingwood High. All right, let's look at multis. I've got Jaden Stephenson, 15 plus. That was my first thing that I had to lock in. Braden Maynard, 15. And he's averaging about 19 or so, something like that. He's good for it. Zeeble, 25. Pendlebury, 25. I think John Noble, 15 as well. Again, not...
You want to show up for Dad?
Narrative bet.
Daddy.
And this is a bit different one. Collingwood, line, last quarter only, -6.5. That's paying about $1.90. So I think North win, but I think Collingwood win that last quarter.
It'll be interesting to see.
And I think North will just hold on to just get the win.
That'll be exciting.
That'll be juicy odds though.
That's paying $7.70. That.
Well, if you go North win,
that's $4
and you add that
by itself.
line, you add the line of Collingwood winning. They love that. Like they bump the odds up real hard for those.
Big boom booms.
Opposites attract.
Big boom booms in the pants.